here's a sequence to help loosen up the low back and pelvis area, to help balance the sacrum and better align it before you start your strengthening routine so that the joints line up well. Start seated in a firm chair with your feet planted. Pull your belly button in and up, round your low back, but keep a lifted feeling like you're rounding over a beach ball. Then go the other way, but keep the feeling of a string pulling your sternum and head upwards. So you're going to rock your pelvis, arch your low back slightly, but you're staying very lifted, like now you're trying to do a slight back bend over a beach ball. Go between these positions a couple times, keeping your shoulders relaxed. As you round, keep that feeling of hollowing the abs inwards, keeping space between the vertebrae. And then lifting from the sternum, creating height, creating space between each vertebra as you gently arch. Then you're gonna do waving seaweed side to side. You're gonna reach to one side, letting yourself side bend, but again, that lifted feeling like you're coming over a beach ball. And then leading from the core and rib cage, you're gonna pull yourself back to center and just let it all settle. And then go the other way. Using your core and rib cage, pull yourself back to center and then just let it settle. Go side to side a few times. I'm going to show you fairly quickly so you get an idea of the sequence, but you could spend more time in any of the areas that feel a little sticky, like they might need more help. Next, you're going to do pelvic circles. So you're going to imagine that the top of your pelvis is scraping the rim of a big mixing bowl, or sort of like you're hula hooping. Again, try to keep shoulders relaxed, away from your ears. And notice if there's any direction or quadrant that's a little harder to roll your pelvis into, or if it's a little harder to open on one side. Again, you could spend a little bit longer if needed to loosen the muscles up. And now we're going to do some sacrum balancing or SI joint resetting. So first you're going to lay face down on 2 blocks. You're going to make sure that there's space for your belly, but the blocks are going to capture your ASIS, the little bony prominence on the front of your pelvis. Okay. You can just support your head on your hands. Just breathe and relax. You're just using the weight of your body to help align your pelvis by putting even pressure on each side. I'm going to show you quickly, but this is a position that you could stay in for up to a couple minutes. Okay. And then carefully push back to hands and knees. And now you're going to lay the other way on the block. You're going to line the block up right in the middle of your sacrum, not your low back. You want it on your sacrum right here. I think the easiest way to get it under you is to lay down on your side, roll onto your back in a bridge position, lift your butt, slide it under your sacrum. And then you can just hang out here for a minute to start. Again, just using the weight of your body to put even pressure on both sides of your sacrum. And then when you feel ready, you're going to pull one knee to your chest. Slide the other leg out straight. Keep pulling that knee gently towards your chest, reaching the opposite heel away from you. You're going to breathe here for about 30 seconds and then switch. And again, I'm showing you rather quickly, but you could perform this a couple times on each side. And if you feel like your body's being slow to adjust or slow to release and relax, instead of doing it for 30 seconds, you could spend up to a minute in each position. And then finally, you're gonna do a little muscle activation sequence. So you're gonna put a squishy ball or a towel roll between your knees. Lay down on your back. I just rolled down. You can also go on your side first, then roll onto your back. You're gonna squeeze the ball firmly between your knees for 5 seconds. And then relax a little bit. And then put your hands on the outside of your thighs, and you're gonna push it out into your hands. If the ball drops, it's okay. The idea is you're activating the muscles that push out, but you don't really need to change your thigh position. You could also use a really thick, firm, elastic exercise band if you have one. But again, it should be firm enough. You can even use a belt actually, because you just want to push out, but not actually move your thighs that much. So it's more of what we call an isometric hold. You're engaging the muscles, but you're not really actually moving that much. So you're gonna alternate squeezing in and then pressing out 5 times for 5 seconds each. Okay? And then finally, you're gonna do a little thigh shift. So you're gonna keep that towel roll or ball between your knees. Imagine a down arrow on the left thigh and an up arrow on the right. You're gonna curl your tailbone up just a little bit so your back of your butt is just slightly off. And then you're gonna slide that left thigh with the down arrow down into your hip socket. And the right knee is gonna look like it goes up a little bit. You're gonna hold for 5 seconds. Take a deep breath. And then switch. You're gonna come back to center. Make sure that tailbone's still slightly curled up. Now there's a down arrow on your right and an up arrow on the left thigh. You're gonna suck that right thigh down into your hip socket, making a little shift happen. And the left knee is gonna look like it moves upwards a little bit. Okay. After you've performed this 5 times on each side, you're all done. You're gonna roll over to your side and then sit up. So again, oftentimes the sacroiliac joint, it doesn't always need more mobility, oftentimes it needs stability, but sometimes if it's not optimally aligned, when we load the sacroiliac joints where the pelvis and the sacrum meet during strengthening, the pressure and compression on the joint doesn't feel good. So this little mobility routine to do before strengthening is more for alignment, not necessarily that we're trying to make it loose or unstable.